It's been another week. We did make progress on PoPS this week. It was freezing cold 2 of the nights that we shot. Let's start with the first shot, last shots. Last Sunday, here's us discussing the first shot. And for this first shot, Steve is gonna say, and you're gonna say, that's it. That's the whole shot. Ryan was just rolling to roll, and then here is actual first shot. Camera. Track one. Great. Right. Last shot.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
We got a lot of darkness in the last shot, don't we? Okay, and then on Tuesday night, first shot. Now we're really wide, too.
Rolling.
That's probably in, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Where's our edge?
There you go.
All right, good. Roll camera and sound.
You're in the...
Track one. Ready? And... last shot. Set. And see, so like, you know how sometimes when I do first shot, last shot, there's like a lot of time before like we call action? Not so much when it's really cold out. The following night we shot again, and it was a little bit warmer according to the thermometer, but the wind made it so much colder than that. And Craig was so sick, poor Craig, but he was a trooper. He stuck it out with us till midnight when we finished. Wednesday night, first shot.
I need you to go back to the point.
And last shot. Set.
Hold on. Set.
And 3 more shoot days down. Eliza and I have been watching The Office a lot recently. We never really watched it when it was on, and now we've watched 7 of the seasons in the last month and a half. I was talking to Eliza about some of my personal concerns when it comes to just life choices and goals when it comes to the video stuff. And when at the end of the conversation, she was like, you should talk about that in an update. You should just tell the audience, you know, how you feel about things. I was like, okay. We were watching this episode of The Office where Michael had made a movie, and he spent 1 year shooting, 4 years reshooting, 2 years editing. Like, he spent like 7 years making this movie, and so then everybody sits down and they all watch it together, and it's awful. It's just terrible. And everybody's like enjoying it because it's so funny and it's terrible and so amateurish. And when I watch things like that, I'm like, oh my god, it's me, isn't it? Now, before I continue spouting this diatribe in your direction, this isn't like affirm your belief in the show. You guys, clearly, you show up week after week. You believe in the show that we're making, and I really appreciate that. But this is what I told Eliza, and she told me that I should share it with you guys. So I know that you guys believe in PoPS. I do too. That's great. But there's still this thing that happens in the back of my mind whenever I see one of these things. And people making a movie like Living in Oblivion or American Movie, the documentary about that dude making Coven. Can't be Coven. Sounds like oven. Gotta be Coven. These people who are just deluded and following their passions. What that comes down to is, like, I worry that I'm spending all this time working on something that I think is so awesome, and at the end of the day, like, I feel like we're sitting in that room in the office and people perhaps are laughing at it instead of with it. It's just one of those things. I don't know why I keep saying that. And then I told her how after I moved back from LA, I spent 5 years in LA. After I moved back from LA, I was working for this guy. As a hobby, together, we would make these movies, you know? Fun movies, video shorts. He had some really great equipment that he was letting me use and everything. And one day, for some reason, he took me to see this guy. He was like, I know this video guy. Let's go over there. And we went to this guy's house. It was just a residential area, and he knocked on the door, and there's this guy alone in his house, wearing like a bathrobe and a t-shirt. VHSs stacked everywhere. VHS is a video format. It's tapes. At one point, there were no DVD players. Instead, we watched things on videotape. VHS. Very poor image quality. He had all these VHSs stacked everywhere of stuff that he had shot, and he had his like linear editing systems. I mean, he'd been doing it for a while, clearly. We talked about this, that, or the other, some video stuff, and then me and this guy I was working with, we left, and as soon as we got out of the house, I was like, oh. I was like 26. My boss was like, what? I was like, I was just looking at my future, man. And he was like, that's not your future, you know, and it just, because you get bogged down in this thing where this thing that you've wanted to do for forever, you're doing it on your own terms and aspiring to something bigger, something more. From the inside, all you know is that you're making your thing, and you don't know if it's legitimately good or if people just admire the fact that you're getting it done. That's just one of those things I think about a lot. And oftentimes I feel like I'm just getting it done instead of making something good on its own merits. That's one of those things that always creeps up in my mind, and I just never talk to you guys about. And I don't want this to be like a YouTube, like, I'm scared thing like Charlie did, which was great. And he really opened up and let you know his personal fears. And this isn't like a crippling fear to me by any means. It's just something that sneaks into my head and probably will be there forever. And I'm just wondering, what's one of those things for you? What's one of those things that gnaws at you? I should be doing more. Am I doing the right thing? Am I spending my time the right way? Because there are all these things that I could be doing. I see people putting out these short films that get a lot of attention, you know? But you can't really do that with a web series because there's too much, especially with a show like PoPS. There's just too much history to the show now to just submit an episode. You can submit an episode to something, but if they're looking at it without any kind of context, it doesn't have the same kind of impact. So here I am making the Platoon of Power Squadron, spending all this time on something that is basically just going to be online, and it's not going to be a launching pad to anything else, which is fine. I used to think all the time, this is a stepping stone to the next thing. And I finally, maybe about a year ago, came to the realization that this isn't a stepping stone. This is a thing. You know? The Platoon of Power Squadron is a thing. And many of you help us fund it and make it, and that is amazing. It's its own thing. And until the servers break down, it is going to be out there forever. So I pour everything I can into it and hope that all the stuff that I want to convey gets conveyed. And so far, I think it's been coming across really well. So what's one of those things for you? What's one of those gnawing doubts that you have? What's one of those things that just weighs on your mind? Something that you think about often that maybe you don't voice because you feel like it makes you sound insecure or whiny or pretentious. All of these things. What's one of those things that crosses your mind that you just never give voice to? This is your chance. This is your platform. I want to hear about it. I hope you're having a good week. I had a very good one. Sorry this is so long. The heart-to-hearts kind of tend to be. PoPS logo should have 3 more shoot days by the next time the update rolls around. I will see you then.